Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And tonight it's Thursday. It's still Thursday, not quite midnight yet. So it's time to review tonight's Seattle-Green Bay game. And Seattle gets the win, 27-24. I was kind of surprised there at the end. Basically, the Packers' last drive, they just 3 and out, did nothing. It wasn't the typical thing you'd expect from Aaron Rodgers there. And then they punted away on 4th and 2 and never get the ball back. So, just odd to have happen to Aaron Rodgers. You always think of him fourth quarter towards the end of the game, he's going to go get it done. And he didn't quite. He had great first half. Through a couple touchdowns. He had majority of his points in the first half, and then just nothing in the second. Just an odd game for him.
Yeah, his he looked fine really, but at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think you expect him to come out swinging when it really matters, when the game is on the line. I was kind of hoping that Seattle was going to give up the ball one more time. They did a really nice job, just draining the clock there at the end. Russell Wilson had a little scramble to get a first down. They ran the ball. So they kept Aaron Rodgers from having a second chance. I was really hoping to see what that would do, because you're right. I mean, it was a kind of a pitiful last drive attempt by Green Bay. But, even with that, even saying that, he did have a pretty efficient game. Obviously, like you said, first half, but 332 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked quite a few times. But, overall, he looked solid.
Yeah, he really did. Just kind of strange there at the end. And I guess part of it is he really doesn't have many people to throw to right now. He just really, he doesn't without Cobb, without Allison. Valdez-Scantling had 1 catch for 8 yards. St. Brown 1 for 16. St. Brown, it seems like there was more than one instance where Rodgers wasn't quite happy with him. He didn't seem to be where Rodgers wanted him to be. And so really, whoever that Tanyan guy is who got that big touchdown, random, at least he did something, but it's Adams getting everything, 10 for 166. Would have been nice if he would have got one of the touchdowns. And then Aaron Jones got involved in the passing game a little bit. 5 for 63, got a touchdown. Only 11 for 40 rushing, but got a touchdown. So another, huge fantasy day for him. So at least the guys you would have played for the most part from Green Bay did well, except for the people that threw MVS in there, which was happening yet in some leagues. That one, I think you just hold off on playing him.
Yeah, looks like it. And, that's unfortunate. I really didn't see this coming as far as, Devontae Adams 10 catches, but no one else, if no other wide receiver had over 2 catches. And, that's Lance Kendricks had 2, but everyone else had 1. It was kind of bizarre. And as you were talking about St. Brown, he was targeted 4 times, only could bring down one of those targets for a catch. And even Jimmy Graham, just 1 catch. Obviously, he, got a little injured, a little banged up. It was kind of odd. And the fact that Aaron Jones comes in with 5 catches, surprised me, but at the same time, it makes me feel very good about where Aaron Jones is going in this offense. I think that in other games, he might get a few more touches as far as rushing the ball. But if he starts getting in this passing game, which it looks like obviously Aaron Rodgers trusts him enough, he threw that touchdown to him, which was actually a pretty nice catch for a running back, kind of turning around, making that catch. Aaron Jones was, for me, kind of the biggest takeaway from here, because we kind of knew what Aaron Rodgers was, and we'll talk about Seattle, but no one on the team really surprised me too much. Aaron Jones was the big takeaway, because we knew Devontae Adams was good as well. What about you?
Yeah, so that's why we talked about Aaron Jones all off season. We kept talking about him during the beginning of the season when he wasn't really doing much yet, because you knew you could just watch it between him and Jamal Williams. You could tell who the better player was. I think everyone could see it. And finally, Green Bay's got to the point where, hey, they realize it too. Jamal Williams is pretty much non-existent now, which is probably how it should have been the whole time.
Yeah, just one carry.
Yeah, so it's Aaron Jones' offense, and all those people that held on to him and kept him, on their teams throughout the year, they're feeling pretty good about it. I know in one of the leagues we're in, you have Jones in there. You have him in you had Jones and Adams tonight, so that's solid day.
Yeah,
so,
makes me feel pretty good.
But yeah, Jones, he's going to be he's a top 15 option for the rest of the year. I might not go as far and put him up further than that right now, but he's definitely top 15.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. He will have some games like this where he gets in the end zone, but until we establish the fact that he's going to get, more than 10 carries every single game, I don't feel comfortable saying top 10. But I really like where he's heading, and hopefully he gets more carries, and then we can actually solidify that and say, hey, Aaron Jones is the real deal. You can bank on him doing well for you each and every week. But until those carries go up, I won't be able to say that.
And then Seattle, who actually won the game, we haven't talked about him yet. Russell Wilson had a solid Russell Wilson game. Nothing spectacular, but you're fine with it if you played him. 225, 2 touchdowns. Didn't get a lot of rushing yards, but he's still 21.6 in standard, 6-point leagues. So solid day for Russell Wilson. And Chris Carson comes back and right away is the main back. So I think that question's answered, that he's the main guy there. 17 for 83 and a touchdown. Penny ends up with 8 for 46, but I almost feel like that's slightly misleading. I mean, his first carry was for 30 yards. So
right
after that, he went 7 for 16. But he was more involved than Mike Davis, who dropped down to only 4 carries. But Davis, I think, was out there at the end, though, as well. I think Davis was out there on that last drive.
I think he's the one that got the first down to really, melt it away. That was kind of strange.
Yeah, right. He barely had any carries all game, and he's the one who gets that. But it does go to show, though, it's even though Carson's leading the backfield, these other two are involved. And I mean, they're right now. They have no reason to change it. They're the number one rushing team for yardage in the league right now. So what they're doing is working. It might not help. I mean, fantasy wise, we might get a little frustrated sometimes, but it's working. And I think if Carson gets this kind of volume, which he has been, he's very, very playable. Shouldn't hesitate about him. I've hesitated for a while, but really, I guess there shouldn't be any hesitation there with him.
I mean, that's the way it looks. It's very difficult, once again, to, if I'm going to back one, it's definitely Chris Carson. But it changes from game to game. 17 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown, though. That's very, very solid production. But I look at the numbers as well, and just yards per average. And once again, you take it with a grain of salt, because Rashad Penny was obviously, a little amped up after that 30-yard run. But Chris Carson, 4.9 per clip. Rashad Penny, 5.8, and Mike Davis, 6.5. Obviously not a huge bulk, so one run does a lot for you. But at the same time, they're able to run behind this line. And usually Russell Wilson is able to, run a little more as well. So I totally understand why they run the ball, why they use this committee backfield. But yeah, it makes me very wary of truly trusting Carson or kind of putting him up on that next echelon, because I think it's going to be, yeah, exactly, very quickly. And we've seen it already, right? No matter who has been the primary ball carrier, they've done well. And I think that's why people keep jumping out, grabbing them off waivers, because you're hoping in a kind of dark way that one of these guys gets hurt maybe, and then it clears up this backfield kind of option. Because whoever does become the primary carrier will be definitely worth having.
Then wide receivers, Baldwin, 7 for 52, got a touchdown. Oh, he's slow. He's not Doug Baldwin of old, but at least he's playable. Lockett, 5 for 71. Moore, 4 for 57. And then Nick Vannett, 1 for 17. Dixon got the touchdown, but tight ends aren't really involved right now much with them. Davis is the only running back who caught any passes. So Carson isn't involved in that aspect at all, which limits his value too a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just fine stats, I guess. Baldwin, it's good to see that he actually is out there doing something, right? I don't feel comfortable with him right now.
No, I don't feel comfortable with. Really, I don't feel comfortable with anyone on Seattle, and that even kind of goes for Russell Wilson. He's been fine, but you realize he'll be up and down, and with all the talent and production that's coming out of the QBs this year, it's hard to kind of once again really rely on him, especially his rushing yardage is what's really been buoying him this year, and 5 rushes is not bad. 5 for 17 though. When one was 12, and I believe that 12-yard run was probably to get the first down in the fourth.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's going to be up and down. But once again, it's Russell Wilson. He's working with hardly anything, and he still looked good. 225 for 2 touchdowns.
It's working for them right now in actual football sense. They're spreading the ball around, and so you know what? It might not be great for fantasy, but it's working for them, so it's probably not going to change.
And they've got back to 500.
Yep. So there really is no excitement there. Even though Green Bay hasn't looked as good, you're still more excited about their fantasy options in Jones and Adams for sure, and Rodgers. So,
yeah, I thought it was interesting. Before we started recording, Craig came on and he was talking about how even though it was a close game, he didn't find it that wasn't as entertaining as it should have been.
I don't know. It was weird.
I know. I feel the same way. I'm half sleeping here.
Right. It's like this is the game, like a close game like this. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. But it just felt off. I don't know.
Now, I think I really do feel that last drive kind of summed up the whole game. Where even though it was close, it was just them grinding it out. All right, let's kneel. Like it felt like everyone was going through the motions at some point.
Yeah, just strange. But hey, worked out. If you played Jones, played Rodgers, played Adams, you're feeling pretty decent right now. So, I'm looking at one of our leagues, and one of the teams I need to have win this week played Nick Vannett, MVS, and Mason Crosby. So I got the 8.5 points total. Not my team, but a team I need to have win a game for me to help me out. 8.5 between 3 players. Oh, God. John's going to get a lucky win. But, all right. I think that'll do it for the review. We'll be back Sunday night. We'll talk about all the action in Week 11. Talk to you guys later.